This is A Space to Speak Your Mind. We're a radio show and podcast about mental health, made by people with lived experience in association with Cornwall Mind. We do cover subjects that some listeners may find distressing. For more information, help and support, please visit cornwallmind.org. And if you'd like to be part of the show or send us your thoughts, we'd love to hear from you too. I'm Richard and welcome to the November show. On the programme, I'll be welcoming Dr. Zoe Williams and Robin Johnson from Visit Britain to talk about days out from the National Lottery to get us all outside for better mental health. Jess will be giving us top tips to winter wellbeing and also looking at the menopause for Menopause Awareness Day. I'll be asking how domestic violence could be linked to internet-connected devices such as smart speakers, security devices and fitness trackers that could be used by abusers to harm and exert control over their partners, with Lisa King from Refuge UK. We'll be finding out what's happening at Cornwall Mind this month with Joe. And Dr. Hilary Jones will be back on the show, making sure we're looking after both our mental and physical health with support from Public Health England. And will be telling us about the latest phase of the Help Us Help You campaign to raise awareness and highlight the symptoms of abdominal and urological cancers. But first, I'm finding out about the Gratitude Games with serving firefighter and Gratitude Games founder Mike Downard.
A space to speak your mind with Cornwall Mind for better mental health.
There's a space to speak your mind. I'm Richard and I'm joined by Mike Downard, who's a firefighter and co-creator of the Gratitude Games. Mike, firstly, I just wonder if you could give us a bit of an insight into how emergency responders have been experiencing the pandemic in terms of their mental health and some of your concerns as well.
Yeah, hi Richard. The pandemic's affected the mental health of so many people, especially those of us within the emergency services and the NHS. It's not surprising that Mind published a new report that showed that 69% of emergency responders had reported their mental health has worsened since the start of COVID. It's the everyday demands and expectations were brought into sharp focus by this period. We're also having to deal with being apart from loved ones, working extra hours, cover shifts and worry about our own health as well. So it's been a tough time.
And on the back of that, you've co-created the Gratitude Games. So just tell us a bit about what that is and why you've decided to launch this.
Well, firstly, from my own perspective, I've served in the fire and rescue service for 18 years and I've seen firsthand the devastating impact that working on the front line can cause, certainly on your mental health. And it's quite worrying that 66% of fire service personnel have faced mental health issues. And for the police, this figure rises to 70%. And again, with the ambulance service, it goes up to 76%, which is just horrendous. Emergency responders, NHS staff, we spend our days supporting and giving support to everybody else. And we're often quick to sort of dismiss any feelings of stress or trauma or anxiety. And the Gratitude Games hopes to raise awareness of the mental health challenges that are faced by those of us in the emergency services and the NHS. And we're hoping to fundraise sufficient funds to enable us to provide tailored support, mental health support for these groups through other charities.
It sounds a fantastic idea. And what kind of events will be taking place?
Well, the Gratitude Games is a one of its kind, really. It's a one of its kind event. It's going to take place in Manchester from April the 27th until May the 29th next year. There will be 18 separate days of competition, and we will be welcoming over 20,000 serving or retired members of the emergency services and their families, including the NHS, obviously, in that, to take part in the inaugural games. So we have 20 really exciting sports. These include triathlons, cycling, archery, equestrian. And we're not here to find the elite athletes. We're here to bring everybody together from all sporting abilities and just highlight the issue of mental health. But it's also, there's a couple of events open to the public. So we have the 5K and 10K run and also the triathlon, which are both open to the public for them to be able to take part in the games and show their appreciation and gratitude to all the emergency responders.
No, that's great. So everyone can really get involved. So, I mean, it sounds an amazing event that you're going to be doing. Just explain as well how the money raised is going to be helping emergency responders and which organisations will benefit from this.
Yeah, so we decided, Richard, that there are, as you'll be aware, there are many charities supporting mental health. And what we didn't want to do was recreate the wheel and start putting all the mechanisms in place that already exist. So we will be funding the Firefighters Charity, Police Care UK, the Ambulance Staff Charity, and Duty to Care, which is an NHS charity. And so all of the profits made from putting these games on will go to these charities to ensure that they support the mental health of their staff.
And if people want to either get involved or they want to support, where can they go to get more information on this?
Well, it's great because what we're doing today is we're launching our fundraising appeal. So if anybody would like to support us to enable us to put these games on, then they could visit crowdfunder.co.uk/Gratitude Games. And there's more information, but that's where they can donate to help us secure the funding to put these games on. I think the only thing I'd say is important to say that it's not just for the blue lights and NHS. There is a wider sort of family of emergency responders, which include RNLI, blood bikes, the prison service, and we're also supporting the mental health of these organisations as well.
That's fantastic. It sounds like an amazing thing, and I wish you so much success with it, and we'll definitely be following you and hope to talk to you in the future and find out how it all went.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Richard.
This is a space to speak your mind, and next up, Jess has some top tips to get us through the autumn and winter period.
A space to speak your mind with Cornwall Mind for better mental health.
Hello everyone, my name's Jessie, and I'm one of the presenters on A Space to Speak Your Mind. Oh my god, I can't believe it's November already. Anyway, it's not always easy to get outdoors during autumn and winter, so I've come up with a few tips, all 6 of them, to help you stay active, be social and enjoy the wonders of nature this season. I hope they can come in helpful for you. Number 1, have a routine. A great way to fit exercise in around your day-to-day commitments, even if it's just a brisk walk at lunchtime. Consistency is key and means you'll be less likely to forget or leave it until tomorrow. Number 2, keep warm. Stay toasty by wearing plenty of layers, especially when you're outside. Don't get put off by wet winter walks. Using waterproof footwear and cosy socks is a great way to keep sogginess at bay. Treat yourself to hot food and drinks to warm yourself up from the inside out. Number 3, see friends and family. Summer may feel like the best time to be social, but the colder months often bring along fun events and occasions to meet up with loved ones also. Think markets, firework displays and places such as Eden and Heligan Gardens. Having plans gets you out of the house and deactivates hibernation mode. Number 4, do a digital detox. Give yourself a breather from social media or using your phone, especially whilst you're out enjoying nature. Take time away from screens to clear your mind and soak up the beautiful sights, sounds and smells of autumn. Number 5, start a hobby. Whether it's painting, visiting gardens, ice skating or even tasting local produce at food and drink markets. Having a hobby or being part of a club can motivate you to try new places and meet new people. It's a great way to fill your evenings too, especially as the days grow darker sooner. Number 6, be near natural light. For most of us, it is impossible to be outside all day every day. If you're inside or working from home, try and sit near a window so you're soaking up a natural light source. Having indoor plants is also a great way to connect to nature when you're at home. Hope these have come in helpful for you. Stay safe, stay warm. Speak to you soon. Cheers and gone.
Thanks to Jess for those, and if you are thinking of getting out this month, here's some more ideas.
A space to speak your mind.
So it's a space to speak your mind. I'm Richard and I'm joined by Robin Johnson from Visit Britain and also Dr. Zoe Williams. Hello to you both.
Hiya.
Hi, Richard.
Great to have you with us. So we're talking about being outside. I mean, we've had such a turbulent summer, we could say, but down here in Cornwall, lots of visitors. It's a little bit quieter now. So for many people that probably haven't been out as much, it's a great time to go out. So Robin, firstly, being outside we know is great for our mental health. What makes the perfect day out, do you think?
Well, I mean, a lot of it comes down to kind of what you as a person are sort of after. So we're all very different in terms of the activities that kind of make us feel good. So for some people, it's that kind of more high octane, exciting stuff. So things like roller coasters and the like. For others, it's that kind of more mindful activities or kind of nature-based stuff, which personally is more my gig. But, I think that across the UK, you've got so many different options in terms of types of things that are open to people. So we've got so much variety. That's always been one of the big strengths of our country as a destination, and particularly down in Cornwall as well.
We're so lucky to have many things down here in Cornwall. But you've conducted a survey. So what did you find were the most popular fun days out?
So yeah, we did with the National Lottery, we did a survey looking at, what were the kind of most popular attractions across the UK. And actually it was the Eden project, which came out at number 1, which was it's just representative of what a phenomenal world-class attraction it is down there. But, many others across the country as well. So whether it's the Tower of London or Titanic Belfast and Brazil, there's a huge range of different attractions which kind of came in the top 10 in the survey.
Dr. Zoe, why is it so important for our health, and especially for our mental health, to be outside?
Well, yeah, people spoke about what they found was the right formula. The thing that came out on top, actually, 52% of people said laughter. And, laughter's great, but it's also important for our mental health. It actually has health benefits. When we laugh, we release feel-good brain chemicals. Laughter can also help alleviate pain. It can also help with our sleep. But there are lots of other benefits to having a fun day out for your mental health as well. So engaging your brain. If you learn something new, and this kind of links in with the NHS 5 Ways to Wellbeing, there's evidence to say that learning something has a positive impact on mental well-being. It can help boost self-confidence, raise self-esteem, give a sense of purpose, also help you connect with other people and build new relationships, which is something that's been very difficult the last couple of years. And meeting new people, but also spending good quality time with the people that you care about. Again, really good for our mental health. Being active. A lot of these different attractions involve you to rack up your steps or be active in one way or another, which has got huge benefits for both physical and mental health. Being in nature, we know that there are links between nature and reducing stress. And finally, it's about being mindful and just spending a day out where you get to just be in the present, be in the moment, not worrying about the future, not thinking about some of the dark times people might have had in the past couple of years, but something like being in a panic room, which they're very popular at the moment. And a lot of people might not have heard of them, but it's like being in the Crystal Maze. You go in there with a group of friends. You have an hour or two to get out of this room. You've got to solve lots of clues. And for those couple of hours, it really is an opportunity just to be fully immersed in what's going on in the present. And mindfulness, we know, is really good for our mental health as well.
I've never tried one of these rooms, but they are fascinating because you have to spend your whole time thinking, and it takes your mind off whatever's going on in your normal daily life. But you get a sense of achievement as well at the end of it, don't you, from going through all the clues and making your escape at the end?
Yeah, you do. And I guess if people are listening and thinking, oh, the word panic doesn't sound very nice, especially if people are struggling with things like anxiety, there isn't usually much panicking going on. I guess unless you opt for one that is kind of a horror nature, there isn't usually much panic going on. There's a lot of laughter, a lot of fun. But yeah, you really got to get your brain working, get your problem solving juices flowing, and get yourselves out of that room. So especially if it's a really awful day and you don't fancy being outdoors on that day, that might be something else. But there are honestly hundreds of different things that people can do up and down the country. And I think, like Robin was saying, it's about working out, what's going to make you feel good, what's going to make you enjoy yourself, but also give you those health benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, all these things, as you say, these rooms, they're all in safe environments, and, you've got the experts there. But I mean, it could be anything. You could just be, as you say, going for a walk in a country park. It could be visiting some of the tourist sites, just catching up with a friend, maybe going out with the family, having a picnic somewhere scenic. It could be all these kinds of things, couldn't it? So what would you say would be the top tips really for a fun day out?
I would say, firstly, identify what you want to get out of it. Are you someone who enjoys being in nature? Are you someone who enjoys a thrill? Take advantage of that £25 offer. So if you play the lotto game, whether you do it online or whether you go into a shop to buy the ticket, there'll be a code on there. So if you go to the website, which is nationallotterydaysout.com, you can then redeem your £25 voucher. And on that website, there's a list of all the different things you can do. So if it is something that you want, if you want to be outdoors, you can. If you want to be indoors, you can. I think the main thing to say is just don't miss the opportunity to do something and don't feel guilty. Sometimes I think people think having a day out is a bit indulgent. Well, it's not. As human beings, we really thrive on having fun and having a break and just giving ourselves a bit of a break from the normal day to day and get an opportunity to have that mindful moment.
Yeah, it just sounds really good. I think we all need it, don't we? We all need to have that little space and just to come back out, because we've been inside for so long. And it really is good to get back out and just meet up with people. So for Robin, just tell us a little bit more about these days out from the National Lottery that you're involved with through Visit Britain.
So this is a collaboration with the National Lottery. So, we know that, autumn's a great time of year to kind of get out and experience the country and, all the fantastic attractions which, our tourism industry has to offer. So we're working with the National Lottery Days Out on an initiative which gives any lotto players £25 off in these hundreds of attractions and experiences across the whole of the UK. And just as Zoe said, to give them that opportunity to have a fun day out this autumn. So whatever it is that you're after, and if you're up for a bit more adrenaline or a bit more mindfulness, if you head to that nationallotterydaysout.com, and you can kind of see what's in your area, what is it that you like, and exchange a lottery ticket to get that opportunity and just go out and have some fun.
Sounds amazing. I think there's so many ideas, and I think you've given us a few more there to be thinking about. So thank you so much, Robin Johnson from Visit Britain, and also Dr. Zoe Williams for joining us here on A Space to Speak Your Mind.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
This is Richard. It's A Space to Speak Your Mind, and next up I'm joined by Lisa King from Refuge UK to talk about the link between domestic violence and internet-enabled devices.
A Space to Speak Your Mind.
So Lisa, thank you for joining us today. Lisa King from Refuge UK. What has your research found about internet-enabled devices such as doorbell cameras, smart devices and fitness trackers, and also their link to domestic abuse?
Yes, thank you, Richard. We are partnering with Avast, and together we've undertaken a big survey of women, 2,000 women, and really identified just how many are experiencing tech abuse, which is a form of domestic abuse, as a result of kind of pretty much everyday household items now that are connected to the internet. So we wanted to share that information, help people understand how to keep safe, and then also share some important tools on how to keep safe so that we can enable people to be protected.
So obviously you've carried out this research, and there are some staggering findings that you found.
Yeah, so Refuge and Avast undertook a survey of 2,000 women, and we found that the majority of women, nearly half, couldn't actually identify devices that could be open to tech abuse. So we need to make people understand what those devices are. But then also that so many women, over half, didn't have access to the actual admin control. We need to ensure that people who have devices in their homes know how to access them and ensure that they are safe. And to encourage people not to share passwords. Passwords are too commonly shared. Over half of women who have devices in their home have shared their passwords with other people, and around 28% of that number did so unwillingly. So that's a real insight there that tech is being used against people's wills to control them in their homes, to monitor and watch them. And we really need people to understand that please do protect yourself, don't share passwords, check your devices are protected, and look to our guides on our website to help you do that.
So what kind of devices are we talking about? They're the kind of common things that most of us do have. So which kind of things are we looking at?
Really quite an array of products and anything that is connected to the internet. So for example, Ring doorbells, or perhaps Amazon Alexas, Google Home Hubs, or smart TVs, smart plugs, even your iPhones and tracker phones and phones that are connected to the internet. So really a vast number of devices, and smart TVs included also.
And how are these devices being used against people, both in their homes and also when they're outside?
So they can be accessed potentially by other people, mostly unknowingly, and then activated to cause trouble. So they can, for example, a Nest product that turns on the temperature and affects, the home environment. Somebody external could access that and then unknowingly turn up the temperature, perhaps in the middle of the night, or be able to turn the lights on, or perhaps use a smart Ring doorbell to see what somebody is doing, who is coming in and out of somebody else's home. So it's very frightening to think if people have access to these devices, what they can do and how much they can find out.
And you might not be sure about who has access, because it is a case of using passwords that might be generic passwords or that other people have access to. So, is that a concern, and how worried should we be?
I think it's really important to understand what products in your home are connected to the internet, then to check those products to see who has access to the settings, and to ensure that you know who you have shared passwords with, and you check that list is safe, so that you can understand who you're sharing important information with.
And what should we do if we are worried about the use of this technology for ourselves or maybe other people that we're concerned about?
We have created a really important product with our partner Avast that is now sitting on one of Refuge's websites, which is called refugetechsafety.org. And that new product shows a home. It identifies these 10 products in a home setting. And if you click on one of those, you can see a simple guide that will help you understand how that device can be used potentially against you, and also then how to protect oneself from any abuse being perpetrated. So that's a really helpful tool, and we want to today let women know that that support is there, ask them to turn to that website, review the items that they have in their home and ensure that they are protected, and to look at their passwords and to ensure that they have those measures in place.
Yeah, we've got to be so careful these days. I also notice about fitness trackers as well, because we're in this world of social media and we do tend to put out there where we are, what we're doing at certain times. We check into places, and especially with fitness trackers, if we follow a routine every day, we could be in certain places and out on our own. So we need to be really mindful about who we're sharing this information with.
Yeah, absolutely. Be mindful to that. And also that those products themselves can be infiltrated and can be used perniciously. If you have a product and it's an Apple product, that is going to be linked to all your other Apple devices. And so if one product is compromised, that could potentially put you at risk through all those other elements. Perhaps something has happened on your computer, but be minded that that could have a knock-on effect to your tracker and your fitness phone. So we need to be really aware and understand that it's a complex environment, but we also have a very important message that please don't be concerned, check and be safe and contact us, but also protect your devices and ensure that you still are able to access your technology, because that for everybody is a vital part of everyday living. We just want everyone to do so safely.
Definitely. And having CCTV cameras and locks that you can control, it is a positive thing. But obviously, as we're talking about this, things like the smart locks, they can be used against you, and even the cameras, people can be looking in on you. So you need to be absolutely positive that you are the only one having access to this, or people that you trust, and it's not being open to abuse.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And to understand that what looks like a harmless Amazon Alexa in your own home could be there and used as a recording device for somebody to find out what is actually being said and done in your own home. There's a lot to think about, but there is important information on our website, refugetechsafety.org. So please turn there and access the support. We are very much there to help with our partner Avast.
And where can people go if they're worried about domestic abuse for themselves or others, both to do with their connected devices, but also just in general?
Yes, of course. Domestic abuse is many things, of which tech abuse is one growing facet of abuse. But if you are a woman who is experiencing domestic abuse, or you're worried about that, please call Refuge's National Domestic Abuse Helpline. It's a 24-hour service, and we are there with our experts to provide support. And that number is 0808 2000 247. And we also have lots of important information on the Refuge website and our National DA Helpline website.
That's fantastic. Lisa King from Refuge UK, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Richard.
And Jess is back with us now to talk about the recent Menopause Awareness Day.
A space to speak your mind with Cornwall Mind for better mental health.
Hello everyone, it's Jessica again, one of the presenters of A Space to Speak Your Mind. I'm going to be speaking to you about the menopause, a subject some people still consider a taboo subject. On Monday the 18th of October, it was World Menopause Day, a day to raise awareness and keep the conversation growing about this important topic. Symptoms of the menopause can be severe and have a significant impact on your everyday activities. So I'm going to give you a brief overview of the menopause. The menopause is when a woman stops having periods and is no longer able to get pregnant naturally. Periods usually start to become less frequent over a few months or years before they stop altogether. Sometimes they can stop suddenly. The menopause is a natural part of aging that usually occurs between the ages of 45 and 55 years of age as a woman's estrogen levels decline. Some women experience the menopause before 40 years of age. This is known as premature menopause or premature ovarian insufficiency. Most women will experience menopausal symptoms. Some common symptoms include hot flushes, night sweats, vaginal dryness and discomfort during sex, difficulty sleeping, low mood and/or anxiety, reduced sex drive, and problems with memory and concentration. Symptoms can begin or even years before your periods stop and last around 4 years after your last period, although some women experience them for much longer. The menopause is caused by change in the balance of the body's sex hormones, which occurs as you get older. It happens when your ovaries stop producing as much of the hormone estrogen and no longer release an egg each month. If you're a woman and you are feeling like you need some support and help, your GP can offer treatments and suggest lifestyle changes if you have severe menopausal symptoms that interfere with your day-to-day life. There is help out there. Please speak about it. Don't suffer alone.
Thanks, Jess. And as we know, physical health and mental health go hand in hand. So it's time to welcome back to the show Dr. Hilary Jones.
A space to speak your mind.
It's a space to speak your mind, and we welcome back to the show Dr. Hilary Jones. Great to have you here today, Dr. Hilary.
Nice to be here, Richard. Thank you.
Now, what can you tell us about the latest Help Us, Help You NHS campaign?
Well, this is the ongoing campaign, and this one will focus on abdominal and urological cancer symptoms. We know that bowel cancer, kidney cancer, bladder cancer, ovarian cancer, things that people might describe as symptoms of tummy troubles, which are particularly persistent, account for about 44% of all cancers in England and account for 41% of deaths. So it's really important that people know what the suspicious symptoms of abdominal and urological cancers are. That's the focus of this campaign. But it's also to tell people that the NHS is prioritising cancer and that surgeries, GP surgeries and hospital clinics are open for business as usual. We've got through the early stages of the pandemic. We're COVID secure. We've got these cancer hubs, which are COVID secure. We've got staff there to prioritise cancer. And it's important that if you've got suspicious symptoms, that you come and see us. We're there to see you and we want to see you.
So what are the symptoms that people should be looking out for that are linked to these cancers in these particular areas?
The most important ones would be any abdominal discomfort or diarrhea that lasts for more than 3 weeks, or seeing blood in your urine when you pee, even just the once. It's probably nothing. It's probably nothing serious at all. Many of these symptoms are accounted for by benign things which are self-limiting and short duration, but you just never know. And it's just important to get them investigated and rule cancer out. Some people will be unfortunate enough to have early stages of cancer, but if it's caught in the early stages, the chances of having greater numbers of options for treatment and a better outcome are much greater. So the earlier we see you, the better.
And the prospect of a diagnosis and the result can really affect our mental health too, and especially those around us. So just thinking about the worry that it can bring in maybe going to see your GP, and also obviously when you have that consultation, would you say it's also important to get the support for your mental health as well as the physical symptoms?
Oh, absolutely. Worrying about things is very, very stressful and distressing. It affects people's sleep. It affects people's confidence. It affects people's ability to carry on working and enjoying normal relationships. So another reason to go along and get the reassurance that you will almost certainly get. I would say that, there have been anxieties and worries about going to see doctors during the pandemic, not wanting to be a waste of time or not wanting to expose themselves to any risk of COVID. But we're through that. Cancer hubs are COVID-19 secure. We take extra precautions, and it's really important that we are able to prioritise cancer patients and get them seen quickly. It's amazing that since March of 2020, 381,000 cancer patients have started their treatment, and 95% of them started their treatment within 21 days of the decision being made to treat. And that's magnificent. And it just goes to show that cancer investigations now are continuing just as they did before the pandemic. And that's highly reassuring.
And why is it so important to get these symptoms checked by your GP? And is it really a case of the earlier the better as well?
Yeah, very much so. There was a survey conducted by NHS England, which was really interesting, confirms everything that I've known as a GP for many years. 74% of people said that they didn't want to worry their friends or family, and that's why they didn't report the symptoms. 50% said they were even reluctant to see their GP out of embarrassment or not wanting to waste their time. And here's the thing, 71% said they would only go and see their GP if they thought their symptoms were serious. And yet a third of them didn't know what serious symptoms really meant. So knowing about the symptoms, not just persistent diarrhea or abdominal pain and blood in the urine, but other symptoms such as unexplained weight loss, feeling a lump in your tummy, bleeding after the menopause, vaginal bleeding, after the menopause, other symptoms, blood in the motions, persistent bloating. It's important not to put these symptoms down to something trivial or anything else, or just wait a bit longer. go and see your GP as soon as possible.
And if people are worried, or they may be worried about somebody else as well, is there somewhere where they can get more information?
Yeah, they can go to nhs.uk/cancer symptoms for more information.
Hopefully they can do that and be reassured. And it's so good to hear from you as well, Dr. Hilary Jones. So thank you for joining us today, and all the best for the future as well.
My pleasure. You take care now.
For support and more information for better mental health, visit the Cornwall Mind website, cornwallmind.org. Or you can call the Mind helpline during office hours on 0300 123 3393. And don't forget you can call the Samaritans anytime for free on 116 123.
A space to speak your mind with Cornwall Mind for better mental health.
Hi, I'm Jo from Cornwall Mind. This month we saw the return of our face-to-face community cafes. You don't need a referral, you just drop by and get some support, information and meet other like-minded people. So our community cafes, we're running one in Falmouth. It's at Palacio Lounge on the Moor, and it's the first Tuesday of every month between 10 and 12. Our Truro Community Cafe is at a new venue. We're now at Truro Lounge Cafe, just by Poundland, and that's the second Tuesday of every month between 10 and 12. And we're really excited because we've got plans to expand our community cafes across Cornwall. If you visit our website and click on our What's On tab, you can view our calendar, and all the cafe days, times and locations are there. So visit cornwallmind.org.
A space to speak your mind.
If you'd like to be part of the show, you can get in contact with us. Just email aspacetospeakyourmind@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter @aspacetospeak, or like us on Facebook. And finally, some great news. A Space to Speak Your Mind has won 3 awards at the Community Radio Awards last month. We received 2 bronze awards, one for Community Radio Show of the Year and the other for the Innovation of the Year. And for the Community Development Project of the Year, we picked up silver. So thank you to everyone who has been on the show in the last 12 months and shared their stories around mental health. If you missed anything on today's show, or you'd like to hear any of our past shows, you can download the podcast right now. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Just search for A Space to Speak Your Mind. That's all from myself, Richard, and Jess this month. Thanks very much, and we hope you'll join us next time here on A Space to Speak Your Mind.
A space to speak your mind with Cornwall Mind for better mental health.